ESPN, the world leader in motorsports, presents Speed World. Hi, everybody. Gary Lee alongside Larry Rice. And Rice Arona, you know, we get to see the glamour side of motorsports in the Thunder Series, but as we both know, racing is not always glamorous.
Well, for every hour that we see that is glamorous on television, there are 6 or 7 hours spent right here in the garage working on the race cars. And this is really where the races are won or lost. Today we're in Bob East's shop where he builds the Beast chassis and maintains a lot of the cars that we see on Saturday Night Thunder.
Puts a few back together after their crash during the season. Now, in your USAC career, you won 3 national titles, won a lot of features in midget, sprints, and Silver Crown cars. And friends, he tore up a lot of race cars as well. Now, USAC has been sanctioning races since 1956 and is by far the most diversified sanctioning body in all of America.
They had over 150 races last summer in 16 different states and paid over $9 million in prize money.
That's $9 million. At places like the smallest dirt bull ring or the famed high banks of Winchester and Salem to the granddaddy of them all, the Indy 500. But Larry, the USAC season begins every year in January indoors in the Hoosier Dome in downtown Indianapolis for the annual Hoosier Dome Invitational. And that's our first stop on this year's USAC Season Review. The 8th edition of the Hoosier Dome Invitational, and Bob Ciccone from Prospect Park out in front in the red 56, but tucked in behind is Russ Gamester in 46. A good shot there of the white Ford. That's Jeff Gordon making now a rare open wheel appearance.
Yes, and that second groove wasn't quite wide enough right there as we saw a car get over a wheel, but Russ Gamester liked it outside and he used it to perfection.
With a Volkswagen power plant, an older Grant King chassis showing the Volkswagen can still be competitive as he will take the victory over 100 laps. Team Indiana once again beats Team USA in the Hoosier Dome. And looky there on the victory podium, Mark Dismore on the left, coming back after serious injuries in a practice crash at the Indy Motor Speedway last January. Invitational number 9, and it was all AL81, the green and white car right there, Kenneth Nichols.
Kenneth Nichols had this thing wired from the word go. He worked the outside groove right from the start and was perfect.
And of course, we'll see more of him as we move outdoors in national competition. And speaking of moving outdoors, we go to the Speedrome on the east side of Indianapolis. We televise races there on ESPN. A good look at Ted Hines. He's won 3 straight championships. It's a tight 1/5 of a mile bull ring. Look, not all bed of roses for your defending champion. He's upside down.
We have a little Tommy tip over a double one.
Well, once again, to run well here, you have to work the outside groove, and that red 61 is 7-time national champion Mel Kenyon. He's a master at the high side.
Nobody knows the outside groove better than Mel Kenyon at the Speedrome. He's done it for many, many years and does it well.
Well, Chuck Leary with some trouble right there, slides backwards into the tire marker, and he's upside down. Another Tommy tip over, minor damage, no injury. And once again, 3rd straight year the championship was won by that man, Ted Hines, at the Indianapolis Speedrome. Welcome back to the USAC Season Review. Now, Larry, we've seen how tight the competition is indoors, the Hoosier Dome, but outside the competition is very tight at Ventura on the quarter-mile dirt. And on the West Coast, there has been one dominant driver.
Well, Sleepy Tripp has won 7 West Coast championships. He won 47% of the races that he entered last year, but he can't seem to win on television at Ventura. He's won at Ascot on television, but never at Ventura.
Now, with those kind of stats, you might think it's cherry picking for old Sleep, but that's not the case. He's got some great competition on the coast.
He's got some of the toughest competition around. McSpadden, Sills, Schumann, very, very tough. They bump and grind and turn each other around out there. It's tough.
Dirt competition from Ventura, the opening night of Saturday Night Thunder last April. Rocky Pacific Coast outside Ventura, California, which we called home during the spring of last season for our Saturday Night Thunder programs. The Ventura County Fairgrounds, the quarter-mile dirt. Night number 1, April the 4th, and Ricky Gray up from TQ competition, showing the fast way around. In fact, the fast qualifier that night was another youngster, Andy Pierce.
Yeah, and the old veteran, Sleepy Tripp, moved into 2nd place, challenged Ricky Gray, but couldn't pull it off.
Once again, Schumann is 3rd. 4th is Andy Pierce. Now, Pierce has moved now to 2nd, jumps out of gear, slides to the high side, and collects Sleepy Tripp.
This gives Ronnie Schumann a chance to move right into second place, where he goes right to work on Ricky Gray.
So a youngster with less experience, the veteran from Arizona with a whole lot of experience, and almost loses it right there.
He gave that thing a big pitch just to keep from running over Ricky Gray and saved it.
Well, here's Ron Sleepy Tripp on the high side, now working on Russ Gamester. Gamester in California now with that Scat 4 racing engine.
That's Joe Gertie in that yellow 38 working on the bottom.
Once again, a good battle up in front, though. The white 72, the veteran Ron Schumann on the inside, and looky there, he forced the youngster to make a mistake.
He sure did. Ricky Gray made a small mistake, but it cost him a lot of spots.
So up in front with 1 lap to go, but look at this, the veteran hooks a rut, and look, here comes Russ Gamester, and Russ is going to take the victory in night number 1 at Ventura.
He did a great job. That's a rare mistake that you're going to see Ron Schumann make, too.
Well, as they say, it ain't over till it's over, and there's the checkered flag for Russ Gamester, and the fans love ESPN, and we love you fans. Week number 2 at Ventura now.
Close competition with Gordon on the outside, Stanley in the middle, and Gertie on the inside, racing each other.
And this is what happens. Contact right here, and look at the end result, the Tempe Tornado. Leland McSpadden takes a ride. How many times have we seen this? And now Jason Jockman, who would go on to become the Rookie of the Year in the West Coast, he takes a ride off the second corner.
Hooks a little rut and does a dandy.
But once again, he was uninjured. As the competition continues, prime time Robbie Flock out in front, the red, white, and blue Valvoline car. He's a past Western States champion.
He leads a whole pack of good race cars around the racetrack here. They're all standing on the button, but nobody seems to catch him at this point.
A guy to beat at Ventura is Jimmy Sills. Jimmy moving up to second position in the black number 4. Now watch prime time take him to the outside fence and almost park him.
Pretty good job of using up the racetrack.
Now once again, he goes to the high side. We're talking about Jimmy Sills off the corner, still in second position as Robbie Flock works the inside. Robbie stays low, as does Sleepy Tripp. But obviously, Jimmy Sills has found something to his liking on the high side. But watch that run on the inside. It catches Robbie Flock, and his evening is over.
Prime time is done. That's all she wrote for him tonight. But he tried real hard, but Sills was too much.
Track breaking up just a bit, very rough on the inside, and that's why Jimmy Sills liked the high side, and he takes the checkered flag for the victory at Ventura in week number 2. And there's a look at Sleepy Tripp, week number 3. He is going to be a spectator. He climbs up to the grandstand, some problems in the Zarunian car, so he will not be in competition tonight.
We're riding with Ron Schumann on this tight little racetrack, and you can see how close it gets when you go into turn 1.
Did you see the move that Sills made from the low side to the high side? He is a master of this little tight dirt oval. As long as the car doesn't break, he usually wins out here on the West Coast.
The Tempe Tornado, that's Leland McSpadden in that 47 car. He moves prime time right over. He likes these racetracks, too.
Well, McSpadden was upside down last week. He's trying to make this up to Andy Bondio, the owner of car 47. Here's Jimmy Sills. He loses a radius rod. Now watch what happens. He tries to collect it. It's out of control. He bangs into McSpadden, and Doug Coletta is upside down.
Wrong spot at the wrong time and ended up upside down.
And here is a look at the Tempe Tornado. He will take the win at Ventura, and he does indeed make up for getting upside down the previous week.
Week number 4 provides plenty of action as we see all 20 cars head into turn 1, and look right in the middle. It's that number 4 car of Jimmy Sills.
Jimmy Sills is always a guy to beat on the West Coast, but a couple of other sprint car veterans are out in front right now. Robbie Stanley, the USAC sprint champion, and a veteran of the World of Outlaws. That is Joe Gertie on the inside, the yellow 38.
That car camera always seems to bring a little luck. One of them's running real smooth right now. The other guy looks a little wild up there on that cushion.
Good battle at the front, but Robbie Flock closing in third. But watch this here. Sills gets in trouble, gets tapped right there, and actually saved by Gertie. And look what happens behind him. Almost blocks the entire track. But Sills continues on, and that will certainly benefit him later in the race because now he's battling Robbie Flock. We saw this a couple of weeks ago. Flock on the inside showing some signs of smoke. But once again, Sills likes that high side.
Sills loves that cushion, and he runs it to perfection. Nobody does it better than Jimmy Sills.
Well, Jimmy Sills benefits because of an engine problem with Flock, but Sills now second in the points, still chasing Joe Gertie. Gertie hasn't won, but he's in front in the television points. The final week at Ventura, there's a look at Sills, there's a look at Joe Gertie, who leads the television points.
They're all running down into turn 1. Everybody gets real tight in there, but makes it through.
And look at this, Keith Crisco, a Speedway bike veteran, has moved from 4 wheels to 2 wheels, and he is showing the way.
But our television point leader, that's Joe Gertie back there in that yellow 38. As he comes around turn 2, he gets into trouble.
Well, he gets T-boned by George Ito. Now, that will take him out of competition, but can he actually hang on to win the points championship? It depends on what happens to Jimmy Sills. And look at this. Sills is out of competition. That means that Joe Gertie has clinched the television title without winning a race on the West Coast. The last lap, the veteran, the youngster Paige Jones, with a lot more experience on four wheels, though, but look who's going to win the race. The newcomer to four-wheel competition off the Speedway bikes, Keith Crisco, takes the victory in our final visit to Ventura in April of '92. So Joe Gertie from Rochester, Indiana, the sprint car veteran, takes the Ventura Television Points Championship. Now we go to Lincoln Eagle Speedway in Lincoln, Nebraska, and watch this. Contact with Sleepy Trip will send your defending midget champion, Mike Stryker from Findlay, Ohio, hard into the dirt. That last shot is what hurts.
The sudden stop is always what gets you, Gary.
Paige Jones on the inside, the white 11, Wilkie brothers, and on the high side, oh, Sleepy Trip over the cushion. He missed the cushion in turn 3.
Paige Jones did a masterful job, but look at this hot potato.
Fire in the infield as Russ Gamester blows out the bottom end of that Scat V4, and Paige Jones will take the victory in the Wilkie brothers car. Now we move over to Hanford, California, and here is Sleepy Trip, takes a long slide to the infield, hang on, gets it stopped, no! He catches a rut in the infield, and that was a hard hit too.
What looked like a minor little touch turned into a big crash.
Ronnie Schumann takes the victory over Billy Boat as we move on to Bakersfield, California, the 53rd annual Turkey Night Grand Prix. Sleepy Trip never won it. He's a DNF tonight, and look what happens to your leader. Jimmy Sills takes a hard ride.
It was a rough night for everybody. The racetrack was rough, but it was great racing.
Leland McSpadden now in the black 47. He's going to get in trouble right here as he catches a rut and bends the front end under. And Ron Schumann wins his 7th Turkey Night Grand Prix. Speaking of 7s, for the 7th time, Sleepy Trip is the Western States champion. As we take a look at the point standings, he was chased all year long by the veteran Wally Pankratz. Robbie Flock was 3rd. Rookie of the Year, Jason Jockman was 4th, and Ricky Gray 5th.